Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'll be doing a guide on Whispering Dunes. The first thing I'm going to cover is where the Gauntlet, which is what leads to the dunes, is located. From the entrance of Port Fidelio, you just have to follow this main path until you are just past the wood bridge. And I will most likely try to put timestamps in the description so you can just skip to what you need. So you can find what you need. The main path goes through this tunnel thing, and if they go over this wall, just go around. Instead of going straight towards the broken bridge, you have to take a right and then go left and try to make sure not to fall. And as you continue, you'll run across this wooden bridge, You just go slight past it and there will be a hole here, a little tunnel, which you can go through. And you'll have to cross this tightrope-like piece of wood to continue going through the tunnels. And be careful not to fall, especially there. And you don't want to go on more wood tight ropes, you just want to go up. And here's Gauntlet Ridge, which is the entrance to the Gauntlet. Now if you arrive to Port Fidelio by Taximan Dave, it's very similar. You just have to follow the main path that passes by Salty Dog Tavern, which is this building right over here. And you just have to keep on following the main path until you get to that same exact area as mentioned before. The one just near the wooden bridge. If it's your first time here at Gauntlet Ridge, this area right here will be caged off and there will be a lock there. And when you talk to this person, you need to recruit some other people to join a party with you so that you can defeat the Gauntlet. Because at first, the Gauntlet is not hunter occupied and there are lots of enemies around that you have to defeat before you can gain access to the Whispering Dunes. Unfortunately, I don't have any footage of that, but I'll link down below a guide that probably will have footage of it. And as you can see, this is the Gauntlet area. There's usually, I don't think there's bandit skirmishers up there, but definitely up there with bandits running around and bandit skirmishers up there, and you have to defeat this wall and a bunch of enemies spawn in the wall area. And after you defeat it, you'll gain access to the Whispering Dunes. And a quick note I have is that I would not recommend this area to someone under level 30. And let's get back into it. So if it's your first time, it may seem like a huge place and you have no idea where anything is. But don't worry, because I'll be able to show all of the main locations in the dunes. There's this useful map on the Vesteria wiki that is not outdated, because I don't think this area hasn't been updated in a long time, so it can still be used. And from the entrance, you want to remember these two tall structures that surround the entrance. These two tall rock things. They'll help you get out if you forget a rune or something. And the first thing I'll cover are pretty much all of the major landmarks, like places in the map. So if you just go straight from the entrance, a little to the right towards the edge, you'll stumble across this little oasis thing with a tent. It also has this journal you can pick up. It's part of the Lost Palace quest, which I'll talk about later. And if you keep heading in the same direction, you'll eventually run across a bandit camp. And just a quick side note, I paid $3.99 Robux for the Bounty Hunter pass just for this video. Two different types of enemies spawn there, bandits and bandit skirmishers. These are the bandits. They're melee. The skirmishers have bows and they drop these things. Also, when you clear out an entire bandit camp, a chest will drop containing a coin purse thing that has like 50 silver the last time I checked. If you continue heading this way towards the corner from the Bandit Camp, you'll come across the Sunken Palace ruins, which is also used for the Lost Palace quest. But it's not important yet. Not until you do the quest, which I'll talk about later. And if you just follow the edge, the wall, it'll run across this anvil-like structure. Big anvil rock thing. And I don't know how to pronounce the name of it, but it's like Tetthafut's Anvil or something. The name should come up. Yeah, there. Tetthafut's. But anyways, inside this area, skirmishers spawn up top, and also bandits down here. And if the server's large enough, a bandit skirmisher will also spawn down there, but that doesn't usually happen. And also down here, there is this location that looks like it could be an entrance in a future update. No, we don't know. Just speculation. You can head up towards the anvil structure. The long ways go around if you have not as much mobility. Be careful not to fall, especially at that location. And you can just keep heading up towards the clearing over here. And this is where a mini boss called the Scarab can spawn. It is a 0.3% chance to spawn every second. And it drops these things. And when you go inside the anvil structure itself, every once in a while you'll probably find some Dustwurms in here, which is another new enemy. Well, new enemy to you if you haven't been here before. And there's also a page for the Lost Journal for the Lost Palace quest up there. And if you head down this way from the anvil towards the right, you'll come across the Hermit's cave. And inside there's a little shop where you can buy some pretty cool stuff with crystal beetles, which pretty much all the enemies in the dunes can drop crystal beetles. You can buy holy scrolls, cursed scrolls, and also arrows, because you always need arrows if you're a hunter, and use a bow. And if you head outside and go up here, you'll notice a cannon. You also notice you pass by another bandit camp. That's 2 out of 3 of them. And this is a little village here, the Outpost, as it's called. And this is a little shop you can enter after completing the quest. And as you can see, I haven't completed the quest yet, so I'll do it along with you guys. If you head over here to the other side, this is where you can initiate a quest, a sun shard quest. You have to collect all of the sun shards. And I won't be able to cover it in this video. I'll link down below a video guide that's really useful, already made by someone else. And then you can head outside here through this big rib cage. If you just go straight forward, the entrance is over there. But if you head right a little bit, this is the only other Scarab spawn point where the Scarab can spawn. If you head over here, there's a scorpion pit and ravines. Well, they're actually called Stingtails, and they can drop these items. And there's lots of ravines and caves in this area. If you head towards the entrance, but you want to head to the right a little bit and follow the edge. And you'll probably come across this pit too. Try not to fall in it unless you want to for some reason. If you follow the edge, you'll eventually run into Cacti Gorge, which is this place where you can do some parkour to get one of the sun shards for the sun shard quest. It's pretty difficult as a warrior. I tried it out as a warrior and it's pretty tough. You need to use a hat that gives you jump boost, like a mushroom hat. If you keep following the edge, there's another one of the bandit camps, the last bandit camp. The other bandit location still left is a hideout. And over here nearby, there's a Dustwurm pit, the Dustwurm pit, where Dustwurms spawn, these guys, and they drop these items. If you head back out and you look up, you might notice this big tall tower. And if you have high mobility, like if you have Hunter, or you really know how to use combat roll and blink, then you'll be able to make it up here. This is where Auktufiti spawns. It's Auktufiti's Watchtower. Auktufiti is one of the mini bosses that cycle depending on the time, and Auktufiti spawns right here. If you jump down and you follow the edge, and you might notice you can't quite follow the edge completely because of a ravine. And this ravine, those aren't Stingtails, but those are Deathstings. Deathstings, they drop these items. Or at least they can drop these things. If you keep following the edge, yeah, these ravines are really big. If you go down here, kind of in a crossing where two ravines come together, you come across this cage down here, cave down here, not cage. This is where Sarakis, I'm going with Sarakis the Impaler. That's where that mini boss spawns, another mini boss that spawns depending on time. This is what they drop. And if you head up slightly, just one level, I guess, and you head this way, you might notice this bandit flag, and that's because that's where the bandit hideout is. A little secluded area. Some Deathstings spawn here, but also there are bandit skirmishers and bandits too. It's like a little village for the bandits. And if you climb up the terrain surrounding the bandit hideout, if I can, you'll see this really tall structure up there, and it's called Vulture's Landing. And on top of it is one of the sun shards required for the quest. If you just go around it, don't climb up, but climb up around it. And this is the other way to get to Auktufiti. And you might notice that you're not high enough to access the bridge, but you just have to go back and around, and you can go up the bridge, but careful of that gap. I've seen people fall. It's unfortunate because you probably missed the boss. You have to do some more climbing, and then you're back to Auktufiti. So if you're taking that route, I would recommend heading there early so that you won't miss it. If we go back around the edge, we'll head towards the final mini boss, which is Azariah the Blood-crazed. But they changed it to Azariah the Crazed. I'm assuming they had a problem with blood. Not blood as in B-L-U-D. Blood with the double O's. Yeah, you just have to head towards where the big scorpion it's just a giant Deathsting Sarakis, and you head into Azariah's camp. This is Azariah's camp. This is where Azariah the Crazed spawns, and he drops these things. And before covering the Lost Palace quest, I'll talk about the mini-boss spawning cycle. So at XX00, XX15, XX30, XX45, that's when Auktufiti spawns. So like 3 o'clock, 3:15, 3:30, 3:45. And 5 minutes later, compared to all the Auktufiti spawn times, Azariah spawns. Like 3:05, 3:35, 3:20, I missed that, 3:50, and then another 5 minutes later, Sarakis spawns at 3:25, 3:40, 3:55, and 3:10. There's a 5-minute wait between mini bosses spawning and a 15-minute wait between a mini boss spawning again, the same one. Like from one Azariah spawn to the very next one, it's 15 minutes. And this is future me now, and apparently it's back to Azariah the Blood-crazed. And one last thing before moving on to the quest, Lost Palace quest, is that for the mini bosses to spawn, you need a certain amount of players in the server. I think it's 6, and in private servers, the number doesn't matter. Now it's time to cover the Lost Palace quest. Yeah, and you have to be at least level 35 to start the quest. And near the entrance, you may recall seeing this oasis with a lost journal. And what you have to do is go back to it and pick up the journal, the lost journal, and you have to head back to the Gauntlet to Dr. Henry Bones, not Jones. Dr. Henry Bones. Once you talk to him, you can continue on with the quest. Dr. Henry Bones is right outside the door. He'll give you the quest. He's looking for his son, Mississippi Bones. And we have to complete the journal so we can find the location of Mississippi Bones. As you can see, 2 pages are missing, and we have to find both of them. And luckily I already know where it is, and if you watch through the entire video, you probably also know where both of the pages are. The first page, you can find it by heading back to the oasis where the lost journal was. So just head straight from the entrance towards the oasis. And from this little tent, you can just head left towards all the Stingtail ravines and stuff. But you don't want to go to this ravine. You want to go to the next ravine, which is over here. And not down here, but in the next area over here, you'll see this little campfire, and right next to it is one of the missing pages. And the page talks about stuff. Yeah, I was reading it. And you want to go to the edge of the ravine, like this edge, just next to it, and you want to go straight forward. And slightly to the left, because you want to go back to the anvil. The final page that's missing is up there, next to a lantern. because without all the pages, we can't just go to Mississippi Bones and show him the journal, because it won't work. It won't work. At least I don't think it will. It shouldn't work. So you just have to go back up towards the clearing. Almost fell down there. Head back up. Go to the edge of the anvil. And the final page is right next to his lantern. Go pick it up. And he's talking about how he's Tal-Rey, which is who the Sunken Palace ruins, I think. He ruled over those, which is over there to the left of the anvil. So you have to go there. So that's Tal-Rey's temple. Tal-Rey. He was like a mage guy or something. So there's a big mill tower shooting a beam of light towards here. And we need to repair these sun-shaped mirror things so that the beam of light is pointing towards each other, bouncing off the mirrors to go all the way around in a square, so that the door opens. The door in that first ruins over here in the corner, in this corner over here, you can enter now. And usually there's like 1 to 4 bandits here. Looks like someone else already killed them all. You'd usually have to kill them first before you can enter. And then you have to show the journal to Mississippi Bones, who's impersonating as Tal-Rey. Once you show him the journal, the real Tal-Rey arrives. At least the avatar of Tal-Rey. And you have to pick the right vase. The right vase is this little brown broken one. You don't want to choose the one on the top. Don't do that, because then you'll die. You want to choose the one on the bottom. And then you get to choose between a warrior's sword, which is Vesra's Eviscerator, a hunter's dagger, which is Tarul's Talon, and a mage's staff, which is Astrologer's Scepter, I think. And I guess I'm gonna go with the Astrologist Scepter. Because the last time I tried to sell, it wasn't too hard. I'm sorry if I'm hurting your ears with this terrible audio. But yeah, after we complete the quest, we just have to head back to the entrance, talk to Dr. Henry Bones, and tell him the bad news. The bad news about his son. Because I don't know where his son went. Yeah, and also sorry for breathing in the mic. All my things are kind of low quality, but I make do with it. So here's Dr. Henry Bones, complete the quest, get like 13 or 14 million XP and some silver. We also gain access to the shop in the outpost, and I'll head there now. So just fast forward a little bit. Yeah, this audio quality is terrible. Yeah, pretty much just go straight. Have to go left a little bit. and the shop that you unlock is the shop with a pickaxe and a brush. And you unlock this, you can buy some cool stuff like Archmage's stuff. I'd say the only things worth buying here are the DLR, the Last Resort, Ancient Jawbone, if you're going with a Bottle Zerker, where you have a broken bottle, and Ancient Jawbone for fast attack speed, and Archmage's Robe. Those are probably the 3 best items you can buy in this shop besides arrows, if you use arrows. So yeah, it's a pretty nice shop. People like cursing the DLR, try to get high crit on it, like this person might be doing, or they might be cursing a bunch of robes. But that's pretty much an overview of the Whispering Dunes. I might have missed something, like there's this big hidden area, I forgot where it was. But yeah, I'll try to put timestamps and other probably more in-depth guides in the description below. And as always, thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.